viewers, thanks for tuning in and welcome to Charles's Punchlines. I'm Charles and I'll bring you all the important footy news being reported this week, week 10 of the season. To begin with, and once again, interpretation of the holding the ball rule is in the news, with the Age newspaper on Monday urging the AFL to unravel the mess associated with the holding the ball confusion. The Age has reported that AFL Life member Jude Bolton has urged the league to consider again allowing a third man up at ruck contests in a bid to fix the problem with the holding the ball rule. Bolton's call came after another weekend of debate around the rule and its interpretation, with Dogs Premiership coach Luke Beveridge declaring that his team couldn't really prepare for the way that it was to be umpired on Monday night in its team's clash against Port. And a decision paid against Essendon's Andrew McGrath last Friday night, in which the Bomber was pinched after he tried to barge his way through a Brisbane tackle, reignited the discussion, while the eyebrows were also raised on Saturday night when Geelong's Gary Myers was penalised despite dishing off a handball. Bolton, a dual premiership player and 300 gamer with the Swans, said a convention was needed to sort out the issue. He also said that the McGrath decision was against what he believed to be the way of the game should be played and officiated. Bolton said that the AFL's determination to keep the game moving had contributed to the confusion. He suggested that eradicating the ruck nomination rule brought in at the end of 2016 would help with the issue. And former AFL football operations chief Adrian Anderson added on Sunday that while he had no problem with the league tightening the rules surrounding holding the ball, he also said that the player going for the ball must be protected. In Collingwood news, coach Nathan Buckley has caused the club to be issued with a $50,000 fine due to a handball, and assistant coach Brenton Sanderson playing a tennis match with Alicia Molik last week in breach of the AFL's COVID-19 restrictions. Bucks had admitted that the negative attention around the breach of the protocols would not have helped the Pies, who lost to the Dockers on Sunday night. Sanderson and Buckley have paid the fine themselves and apologised in a statement on Friday, but on Sunday night, the former Magpies captain spoke about the breach, saying that the rules around the protocols are not confusing and the mistake happened because of his failure to properly check the team. Bucks went on to say that the breach occurred due to a lack of due diligence by himself. He also said that he accepts the fine and he's not bitter and twisted about it. And in news related to upcoming matches, Gold Coast are expecting to face a big Victorian club as part of the Round 13 Darwin footy extravaganza. The Suns will play a match at TIO Stadium in Round 13 as part of the Sir Doug Nicholls Indigenous Round. Their opponent in that game has not yet been specified by the league. However, there are only 5 teams the Suns won't have played by Round 13. Of those 5 teams, it is unlikely the Suns will play the Lions in Darwin, as they will deny Queensland of the state's footy derby, the Q Clash. The other 4 teams in the mix are Collingwood, Carlton, Hawthorn and North Melbourne. And NT officials are keen to have Magpies venture to Darwin, particularly given that Collingwood coach Nathan Buckley used to live in the NT. And the Suns have indicated that they expect one of the bigger Victorian clubs to be away team for the match. And while the league is still expecting Essendon and Richmond to be able to play at TIO Stadium in Darwin on August 22nd for the Dreamtime match, a new venue will need to be found for the Round 12 match between North Melbourne and Brisbane after the Tasmanian government announced that its border will remain closed until at least the end of August. The Round 11 match between the Kangaroos and Melbourne has already been shifted from Hobart's Blood and Stone Arena to Adelaide Oval. Club sources have indicated that either South Australia or Queensland are now the most likely states for the Roos Lions match, which has been scheduled for August 15th in Hobart. And the Age is reporting this week that the AFL will take it only 1 week at a time with the fixture, with the league to only release details of the remaining fixture in weekly instalments and not in a block of rounds due to the changing state border restrictions and COVID-19 quarantine rules. This means that teams are unlikely to know who they will play more than a week or two in advance, which will cause some difficulties for planning but is an unavoidable consequence of constantly changing state rules. The AFL did release the fixture for rounds 9 to 12 together, but the increasing complexity of the COVID-19 situation means that they are likely to stick to only one round at a time for the remaining home and away season. The league is also continuing to explore its options for the high likelihood of Melbourne being unable to host any of the finals or grand final. While the league is yet to rule out the MCG for the decider, with Melbourne in stage 4 lockdown, it is doubtful the restrictions would change quickly enough to allow the G to host the match. And if compulsory 2-week quarantine periods imposed by the WA government remains in place, it means either all finals, including the grand final, will need to be held in Perth or no finals at all. And in more news for Collingwood, the Pars will debut 190cm defender Trey Rusco in the match against Sydney tonight at the Gabba, while Jordan Roughhead and Callum Brown have been recalled, as has veteran tall Ben Reid. The Pies have dropped Mark Keane, Darcy Cameron and Chris Mayne, and Travis Varco is out for personal reasons. And for tonight's match, the Swans have also selected a debutant, picking small forward Sam Wicks, who is a product for the club's academy, and Dylan Steffens, Jackson Thurlow and Lewis Melican have been recalled, while Nick Blakey, Sam Gray, Lewis Taylor and Ryan Clark have been omitted. And that's it for me this week. Thanks for tuning in. Tune in again next week for more footy news, and remember what I say, keep punching!